off to a hot start, but before we get you caught up on all the action, let me just welcome you into overtime. Here's the rundown on the action. We'll start off with local 6A competition and make our way around the basin. Let's start with our game of the week. Well, pretty cool scene from this morning on Today Show, and that only added to the anticipation for this game between Permian and Harker Heights. This is a duel between two 6As, and each of them were trying to remain undefeated. And we had our reporter Aaron Gelvin out there to tell you more.
Defense has been the key all season long for Mojo, and they'd need a great effort tonight if they were going to stop an impressive Knights running game. And early in this one, it was that run game that punished Permian, as Knights QB Dylan Plake keeps it himself here to score, and Plake would do it again, this time on a quarterback sneak that put Harker Heights in front, 13-0. The Panthers would fight back, however, as Jaquan Richardson would dart his way into the end zone to have his Panthers down just one score early in the second quarter. But the rest of the first half would belong to the Knights as Amir Washington finds the end zone here, and Harker Heights continually attacked the edges of the Mojo defense, tacking on another score before halftime to lead 27-7 at the break. Here with the quarterback of the Permian Panthers, Rodney Hall. Talk me through that final drive a little bit. You guys are going down the field, seconds to go. You got to lead that team.
Yeah, we just had to, stay calm. That's all we had to do. We stay calm, just run our stuff, run the basics. That's what we did. We just had to stay calm, run the basics, and that's what we did.
Well, thanks, Aaron. It looks like that one lived up to the hype as Permian eked out a win against the team that they played, which was Harker Heights, and that game is over at Ratliff. And there's another game that's happening on the Midland side, also a tough test. It was number 8 steal for Midland Legacy. And our reporter Jason Freund was out there and had a front row seat for all of the action. Jason, tell me how it went.
We had ourselves a fantastic game out here today at Astound Stadium between Midland Legacy and Steele. As Steele did take the lead in the first half, Midland Legacy and quarterback Marcus Davalos, they really hung in there and clawed their way to keep this an even score as Davalos was slinging touchdowns and throwing passes to keep his team in the game. Now let's take a look at those first half highlights and see what we got. Midland Legacy Rebels back home at Astound Stadium as they look to hand the undefeated Cibolo Steele Knights their first loss on the season. First quarter, Rebels down early. Quarterback Marcus Davalo gonna arc a pretty pass to wide receiver Aiden Serrano, but the Rebels wouldn't find the end zone that drive. However, their luck starts to turn around. In the red zone, Davalos fakes the handoff and fires a bullet to wide out Deontay Sanier, who fights off the coverage for the score. That's gonna tie us up at 7. Rebels now down 21-7, need to score. Davalos goes for it all in the end zone and has his man Sanier, who reaches up and lays out for the touchdown. Score was 21-14 at the half.
What I told the team in the game is there's no reason for us to be scared. Like, if we just do what we're asking them to do on a play-in-play basis, either one, we got to get it to them better, or we got to give them trust us more. But like, most of it was, self-inflicted, right? That team, they deserve it. They beat us. I get it, okay? But, like, they should leave here with we can win. We needed to be in games like this because in the playoffs, when you lose this game, you got to hug their neck. They're crying. You love them. I don't want to do that with this team. This team can play with anybody in the state of Texas. There's no doubt. They showed it tonight.
Now, as we dwindled down to the final seconds of the fourth quarter, Steele was up 28-21. However, Midland Legacy would not go down without a fight. They would drive all the way down to the red zone with 36 seconds remaining in the game. And with 19 seconds on the clock, Midland Legacy was able to get Marcus Davalos into the end zone on a quarterback draw, and he scored the game-tying touchdown as the extra point was kicked. However, heading into overtime, Steele did get the ball first, and they would score for the first touchdown. And when Midland Legacy got the ball back, they were unable to repeat what Steele did. They were stuffed on fourth down, and Steele celebrated with their 4th win of the season as Midland Legacy drops to 2-2.
Well, tough one for Legacy, like Jason just said, dropped its second contest of the season. We'll have extended coverage throughout the week on how Coach Hartman and the team are reacting to that. While both Permian and Legacy had tough battles at home, Odessa High and Midland High traveled for their Week 4 contest, and we're already in Midland, so let's just stay there with MHS. It was Monterey and Midland High. The Bulldogs looking to bounce back, and that started on the defensive end in the first quarter. The Plainsmen driving early, but this stop would shine. A huge hit and a great start for the Bulldogs, and the defense translated to offense just a few moments later. Midland High in the red zone, and the run game takes over, as you've heard this name throughout the season. Mecky McCoy finds a hole and makes Monterey pay with the score, and the Bulldogs would extend their lead to 6-0 with the extra point miss, but the Plainsmen would not go down on their home turf, leading with that touchdown. Jaden Hibbler with that score. And coming up, we have some exciting highlights closer to home in Midland with Midland Christian. Not to mention our very own Tyler Dupnick reported out in Seminole for Andrews versus Seminole. And last but not least, we'll have some top plays, so you're going to want to stick around for after the break. Welcome back to Overtime here on News West 9 on the app and the website. We got you covered with a couple of Midland programs, but if you're keeping track at home with a little list, we're still missing one of the Midland schools who played at home for the first time all season. That's right, the Mustangs are finally back home, again for the first time just in time for homecoming against a winless Cornerstone Christian squad. And as you can see, all of the homecoming festivities are here and the boys ready to get going. And the Mustangs would drive it down the field and quickly get on the board. Special thanks to QB Blake Pruitt with keeping the hustle going, wheeling around to dive for the pylon. This one was close, but it would count for 6 early. Now it was time for the defense to eat, and it did when it mattered. They came through in a massive way through the pressure on this one. Zayden King swooped in And when bodies cleared, the Mustangs held things down on a crazy goal line stand. And MCS gets the ball again. This time it's a Pruitt keeper. And with some help from some beautiful lead blocking on the edge, he turned on the burners and there was no stopping him. And we would go into the half with Midland Christian up 14-7. But unfortunately, the Mustangs would not hold on to that lead, dropping their home opener and still have only one win on the season. And now for another highly contested matchup in the area, it's Andrews and Seminole. These two teams had a strong start, and our Tyler Dupnick is out in Seminole, or was out in Seminole, with more on the matchup.
Yeah, Jenna, it was a fun game out here, certainly. This one, had all the opportunity to have a lot of hype to it. Andrews was looking to start the season 4-0 for the first time in 6 years. Seminole had a great home crowd out looking for their first home win of the season. We had good highlights in the first half. Let's go ahead and look at those right now. We were set up for a classic at Wigwam Stadium as the high-flying offense of the Seminole Indians played host to the undefeated Andrews Mustangs. First quarter featured a lot of defense, but we did have one touchdown late as quarterback Blake Flowers slings one over to Braden Gonzalez, who trots in for the 5-yard touchdown to get our first points on the board tonight. In the second quarter, Flowers again in the pocket, plenty of time to throw, rifles one over the middle, and it's caught for the touchdown by Kyler Kramer. 23 yards, make it 14-0. Indians in front. As we go ahead and move on to later on in the second quarter, Andrews down a 14-0 deficit, needs to answer, and they do. Noah Tellez with a 3-yard touchdown plunge to get the Mustangs on the board, who picked up tempo later on in that second quarter, and then a late turnover in the second quarter gave this opportunity to Ashton Galvan, who called his own number for the 8-yard touchdown run to put the Mustangs up 15-14 at halftime. All right, here with senior quarterback for Seminole, Blake Flowers. You guys scored 40-plus points in every game up until this point. You scored 36 tonight, so just 4 shy, no big deal. Did you guys expect to click this good offensively to start the season?
We did. We've been repping this for a long time. We knew Andrews, they have a really good defense, and they did really good against us. But we had to keep playing. We had to find ways to get open and just make plays.
Yeah, and it was really all about the playmaking of this Seminole offense tonight. We knew how good they were coming into tonight. They'd scored 40-plus points in every game so far this season. Up until, obviously they put up a lot of points again tonight. We saw Blake Flowers have 2 touchdowns in the first half. He capped one off at the end to finish it off 36-15, the final score tonight. Their defense was really good too. It's been an underrated part of their team so far this year. They've averaged 18 points per game allowed. They only gave up 15 tonight to a good Andrews offense that was shut out in the second half. So it was really impressive performance by Seminole. Can't really say enough about how good they were in the second half. They made great adjustments in the halftime locker room, outscoring Andrews 22-0 in the second half and giving them their first loss of this season. Really fun one here tonight in Seminole. Jenna, it was a blast to be here.
Well, thanks, Tyler. The Mustangs on a super hot start early, but that fizzled out as the Indians took that one. And now up next on the list, we have undefeated Fort Stockton, who hosted a 1-win Crane team. Let's jump to the second quarter with Crane in the red zone and ready to strike. Quarterback Keaton Senna finds Trace Larson for the over-the-shoulder snag and the score to go up by 6. But here come the Panthers with the answer. Running back Corbin Luna finds a hole and punches it past into the end zone. And no, you're not experiencing deja vu. Yes, that's Luna again on the carry for another score. And let's hear from Coach from the winning team.
We started out the game rough. It did. We came out flat, and that's something that we're trying to work on. We just didn't do a very good job getting ready to go. But what I was proud of the kids was after they scored, we thought optimistically. We got a block of their PAT, and then we responded from that point forward. So it's not necessarily how we started, but the response of the team, putting our foot down, saying enough's enough. We're not playing very good. Let's just slowly start coming back and making it a good ball game. And we did. We didn't let them score another time. We scored. We kind of had to make some adjustments, but the kids, the response is what we were excited about.
And that one touchdown that you saw was the only one that Crane would score. Fort Stockton remains undefeated with the rushing attack at the helm, while Crane falls to 1-3. And our last contest of the night, 2-1 Ira and host a team coming off its first victory in 1-2 Reagan County. And the Owls picked off right where they left off with an explosive 75-yard dash from Angel Martinez to set Reagan County up with great field possession. And the squad would capitalize and score on the next play for the early lead. And it was really all Owls early, and the Braves were not really helping the cause with a turnover on downs, and would lead to this big run from Reagan County. This time AJ Avalos for the 60-yard TD. A 2-point conversion puts the Owls up 15-0. And Iran continued to sputter on offense with a few turnovers on downs. Again, continuing to give the ball back to the hot Reagan County offense, and the Owls would take advantage with this fake to Martinez that turned into an actual pass to Nick Franklin for another score to go up 21-0 at the end of the first. Okay, it's that time yet again. Top plays are back for week 4, and it's up to you to decide who should be crowned this week's winner. Vote tomorrow starting at 8:30 a.m. sharp. I'll be up, so you should be too, on my Twitter at EliteGayAgenda. You're seeing it there on the screen. We have 4 plays for you tonight, but if you want to see some of your favorite mention, you can message me your submission. But let's get right into it, starting with a nice little link up in Crane. That's right, Trey Larson with a little nice toe drag swag with the ball coming from Keaton Senna for the early score. And we had to play it twice, and now Jaquan Richardson taking it the distance and slipping and sliding past the defenders for the score, and everyone making moves on the run. This time Jarrett Brown finding a gap and breaking tackles all the way down the sideline. No one is stopping Brown. Even when you think he'd go down, he did it. A nice catch and run for the receiver. Everyone was finding the holes in the top plays tonight. This time it's Blake Pruitt who called his own number and dashed for a massive touchdown. He turned on the burners on that one, and look at him go. No one to catch him. And that's it for overtime. We have game time next week and extended coverage throughout the week on high school football action, and we will see you then.